Hello everyone, my name is Akesh, and today we're gonna learn the past tense with irregular past participle. So this video will be the third video, and the last video I've made about the past tense. If you haven't watched the first two videos, I strongly urge you to watch those videos, because if you know how to conjugate the past tense with être, if you know how to conjugate the past tense with avoir, what you will realize is that this video is actually not that complex. You're just changing one minor thing you learned in these two videos. Prior learning. Before you learn irregular past participles and past tense, I'm expecting you to know how to conjugate the present tense of avoir and être. You should be able to translate phrases such as I have black hair and she is sick. And then the second thing I'm expecting you to know is that you have learned how to conjugate an être verb in the past tense, an avoir verb in the past tense, and the differences in the conjugations between those two different types of verbs. If you're not sure about anything I've just said there, I strongly recommend you to just pause this video, go rewatch those videos, and make sure you have a really good understanding of those. Because if you have a really good understanding of these two grammar concepts, what I'm going to teach you now is going to be actually pretty easy. Okay, as we concluded last video, this is our current model of the past tense. You have to conjugate the present tense of avoir or être depending if it's a Mrs. Van der Tramp verb or not a Mrs. Van der Tramp verb. Conjugate past participle, add agreements of an être verb. However, one flaw you might have noticed with this model is that what happens if your verb isn't regular? How do you conjugate the past participle then? If your verb is irregular, you can't use these rules when you're making the past participle of the verb you're trying to conjugate. If your verb is irregular, like these verbs, you just have to know the past participles for each verb. So boire is bu, faire is fait, écrire is écrit, lire is lu, prendre is pris, and so on. There's no pattern to these, you'll just have to learn these. So now here's the updated model of our past tense. Still the present tense of avoir être. Second stage is past participle of your verb, and then if it's irregular, you just have to use the irregular past participle, and agreements are still there. Still really the exact same thing as we just talked about. So say if we want to conjugate I have drank, you ask yourself, what verb is this talking about? It's talking about the verb to drink, which is boire. It's in the past tense. So we need to conjugate the past tense of boire. Boire is not a Mrs. Van der Tramp verb, so we'll need the present tense of avoir. The personal pronoun here is je, so we'll need the je form of avoir, which is je. So that's the first half of the conjugation done. The second half of the conjugation is the past participle. Boire is sadly not a regular verb, so we can't just use these rules. We just have to recall the regular past participle for boire, which is bu. Do we add agreements? No, it's an avoir verb, so we don't add agreements. So let's run through another example. We have read. The verb here is to read, which in French is lire. Lire isn't a Mrs. Van der Tramp verb, so we're going to use the present tense of avoir. Personal pronoun here is nous. We're going to have to use the new form of the present tense of avoir, which is nous avons. And then you're going to have to get your past participle. Lire is sadly irregular, so we're going to have to use the regular past participle for lire, which is lu. Then do we add agreements? No, we don't. It's an avoir. Mourir is the verb to die. Mourir is a Mrs. Van der Tramp verb. It's the M in Mrs. Van der Tramp, so we're going to use the present tense of être. Personal pronoun here is elle, so we're going to use the L form of être, which is elle. So that's the first half of the conjugation done. The second half, we need the past participle of mourir. Sadly, it's irregular, so we're just going to have to use the past participle, which is mort, which is M-O-R-T. Then we ask ourselves, do we need to add an agreement? Yes, we do, because it's an être verb. The pronoun we're using is feminine, so we have to add an E. So there you go.
I'll now do rap on regular past participles. Boire, bu, bu. Faire, fait, F-A-I-T. Écrit, écrit, E with an accent, C-R-I-T. Lire, lu, L-U. Prendre, pris, P-R-I-S. Venir, venu, V-E-N-U. Naître, naît, N-E accent. Mourir, mort, M-O-R-T. Tenir, tenu, T-E-N-U.
So that's it for the past tense. If you have understood everything about the past tense, I'm really proud of you. You've been resilient, you've stuck at it, and you have understood one of the most difficult French grammar concepts there is to grasp. If you haven't, don't worry, feel free to rewatch the past tense videos as much as you need to want to understand it. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a lovely day.